Guys, what's up and welcome back to another Koze Daily Brew. Today we're going to be talking about anxiety. This is a topic that we have talked about quite a few times. I have gone into my history with anxiety a few times before, and I feel like I've explained the whole story. If you guys want to see that, I'll find those videos and link them down below if you guys want more of like an in-depth history. But today I wanted to talk about anxiety a little bit different. I wanted to talk about this thing that I heard in a book that I wanted to share with you because I feel like even in the last 24 hours I've implemented this and I feel like it's actually really helpful. And so if any of you guys are out there and you suffer from anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, whether it's just overall just generalized anxiety, or even if you don't suffer from anxiety and you suffer from any kind of worry, any kind of stress, if you're worried about anything, if your body reacts to that in any kind of way, then this is going to be the Koze Daily Brew for you, because we're going to go into a whole mindset shift that you can take on whenever you're feeling that worry, whenever you're feeling that anxiety, that's going to help basically turn your perspective around. It might not take the anxiety away, I'm not going to promise that, but it will definitely give you almost like an anchoring thought to hook yourself onto that's going to make the anxiety a lot easier. And it's also going to make, I guess, not only just coping with that anxiety, but moving through it and getting out on the other side a lot better. So I'm going to take a good old sip out of my mug, and then I'm going to use all my hand gestures and get right on into it. So I have been listening to audiobooks because I've been doing a lot of driving back and forth to Kingston, to Ottawa, a bunch of different places, and just in general, I tend to get a little restless, and yeah, I've just been doing a lot of driving, okay? So I've been downloading more Audible books and listening to them, and one of the ones that I decided to download was the 5-second rule. This book was kind of one of those books that I just on the whim was like, yeah, that sounds like it could be cool. I'm like interested, I'm intrigued. First chapter, I was like, okay, I'm interested, and then I was just completely hooked. But one thing in particular that I pulled from this book was later on towards the end, which I'm going to do a whole Koze Daily Brew on the 5-second rules, so definitely go watch that. But even if you don't, pick up this book. This book is amazing. It's by Mel Robbins, and she's super motivational and inspirational, but let me get back to what I took from it. So she went into her history with panic attacks and her history with anxiety, along with her kids having anxiety and her kids having, like, you know, being prone to being more panic ridden in certain situations like sleepovers and things like that. And there was this one mindset she spoke of that I've never heard before, so I thought it was super interesting. And it was basically to say to yourself in a lot of ways, I'm excited rather than I'm anxious or worried or panicking. Let me just like make a little disclaimer here. So I suffer from panic attacks. I have been getting them way less frequently in my life than I used to, but when they do hit, they still hit hard. And I know that hearing somebody say to tell yourself that you're excited probably sounds like a slap in the face. I get that. But I can't digress as much as she probably did in that chapter, so I can't stress more to go pick up the book and listen to it. But here is why I at first was like a little taken back, and then the more I listened, I was like, that is super interesting. So she goes into the science behind it. I don't remember the science behind it, but basically the premise was this. Your body doesn't know the difference between what your mind is telling it and what it's feeling, you know? So when you feel anxious, when you feel worried, even if you aren't prone to panic attacks, but you notice that your heart feels a little tight, your chest feels a little tight, your body is giving you the sensations that you're stressed out. Sometimes my skin will break out in any kind of hive or rash when I'm really stressed. I'll notice that my eye twitches sometimes, which is also sleep deprivation and caffeine, but that's topic for another time. And just in general, you'll notice that your body actually reacts to your stress, and that's normal because cortisol is going all over your body, and so it's going to basically tell your body to get ready, to get alert, to be ready to fight, ready to, you know, run away if there's any kind of threat or any kind of danger. The only thing is when it comes to being someone that suffers from panic attacks, or if you have generalized anxiety, a lot of the times when your brain can't pin something that's like, oh, that's where the danger is, it thinks the danger could or will be anywhere, and so it just kind of makes the anxiety or panic a lot worse or harder to kind of anchor it and bring it back down to earth. So when your body is feeling that way, it's super easy for your brain then to just go crazy trying to find reasons that you're feeling that way, rather than switching it into I'm excited. So a good way to look at this is if you had to speak publicly and you get super nervous or super anxious with public speaking, when your body starts to get all hot and clammy, when your heart starts to patter, when you start to feel a little shortness of breath, instead of going, oh my God, this is gonna be horrible, you go, oh my God, I can feel the excitement in my body. And even if, and it probably won't, take the anxiety away or the nerves away, it helps you feel like you have more control over the situation. So for me, I find that I tend to have panic attacks off the whim, but usually when I'm really peak stressed. So I will have a panic attack and I'll usually be able to be like, okay, it's probably because this is layering on top of this, which is layering on top of this, which is layering on top of this. And a lot of the times it stems from me suddenly fearing that I'm not capable at handling whatever is going on in my life, whether it's big. Sometimes it's even really just small, like a really small trigger, and it's just something that just puts me in the mindset of like, I can't handle this. So I think the reason why I find this whole mindset flip or trick so interesting is because saying I'm excited about this kind of turns even the biggest challenges into kind of, I guess just that, a challenge you can have fun with, a challenge you can win. Anxiety isn't fun, okay? It's not fun to feel like you're gonna panic. It's not fun to feel anxiety in your body, and it's not fun to even stress or worry. None of that is fun. But when you tell yourself, okay, this is my body's physical reaction, it's getting excited about this. It's getting excited about tackling this thing that's lingering over my head, or it's getting excited about all of this change that's going on in my life. And even if you think you can't handle it or you're not capable of, maybe taking control, or you're fearing where you're gonna end up, instead say, I'm excited to see where I'm gonna end up. Instead say, I'm excited for all of this change because it's a fresh new start, or I'm excited to get up there and give my speech because I know I'm gonna crush it, or I'm excited for insert whatever you're worrying about right here. It sucks, I know, because again, I'm just worried that anyone listening is gonna think that I'm just being like, yay, just be positive. I'm not telling you to be positive, but there is always a little tiny bit of positive in every negative, just like there's a little tiny bit of negative in every positive. That is just yin and yang. That is the balance of life. So no matter what you're worried about, no matter what you're anxious about, no matter what you're feeling panicky or just stress riddled with, try and take on the perspective in those moments of I'm excited for this rather than I'm worried about this. Take your fear and basically give yourself an anchor thought of I'm going to rock this, or on the other side of this, the change is going to be good. On the other side of this, I'm going to handle all of it and it's going to teach me something. Or on the other side of this, I'm going to be finished that speech and I'm going to have killed it and everyone's going to be clapping in the audience. And that anchor thought balanced with the I'm excited will basically not trick, okay? We're not trying to trick our bodies on this one, but we're trying to tell our bodies that not only are we going to make it through this, not only are we excited about it, but on the other end of it, it all works out okay. So that gives your body and your brain a little bit more like, we can relax into this a bit. We can lean into how we're feeling, even if it's uncomfortable, because no matter what, we make it out on the other end. So that's kind of the takeaway that I had from it, but I highly recommend you guys read the book. She doesn't get into talking about anxiety until later on into the book, but definitely listen to the whole thing through because it's absolutely amazing. And also keep an eye out. I'm going to be doing a whole Koze Daily Brew so we can have a little morning chat on the 5-second rule, because that in itself is just like a life game-changing tool for your life toolbox. Aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed hanging out with me this morning, and I hope you guys all have an amazing day, and I'll talk to all of you guys in tomorrow's Koze Daily Brew. Bye guys.